Hi, I'm Millie. I run the Slip Stitch, which used to be a shop, but now I teach knitting and crochet workshops, and I design patterns as well for both knitting and crochet. And I thought I would just come on and make a little vlog about some of the things I do and things I'm inspired by. So, I knit and crochet. I love both as much as each other, and I personally find it depends on my mood as to which one I want to do. Recently I've been doing quite a lot of knitting, so I thought I'd share with you some of the things I've been knitting recently. For about nearly 4 weeks ago, my retina detached in my right eye, and I found out I was going to have emergency surgery on it. And my first consideration was, oh no, I'm going to need some knitting that I can do without looking. I had also only 24 hours notice, not even that. So I couldn't go and buy any yarn. I knew I had to use what was in my stash. I knew I had 6, I think it was, balls of a James Brett with merino yarn, which was sort of an navy blue colour, which I'd bought a while ago. I thought, right, I'm going to use that. Now I need something simple. I want it for me, and I need to be able to do it if I can't see. So I decided to knit the Gnarled oak pattern, which is, here it is. It's, you might go, oh gosh, but it's got cables and stuff. Yeah, but I didn't have to do that till the end. So it was knitted bottom up. So when I first went into hospital, I was casting on and I was knitting the rib, which made all the doctors and anaesthetists and nurses have a good laugh at me. But they thought it was quite a good way to keep me entertained, because I had to wait quite a while for my op. And I also then had to lay down for 2 weeks on my side. So I discovered how to knit laying down. And this was the ideal project for it. It was knitted in the round. Its majority of it is stocking stitch. All the body is stocking stitch. So I could just crack on and do it. And then I could knit the sleeves, so it's bottom up. And then I inserted the sleeves. And it wasn't till last week that I got to the cable section. About 2 weeks after my op, I got to the cable section, and by that point I was able to sit up, so I was able to deal with it. And it's this lovely cable pattern. Hopefully you can see it there. It's got like little bobbles and little leaves in it. It's beautiful, but it's just at the top. And once you set the stitches, it was really easy to do. So I love it. It's one of my favourite cardigans. I can't wait to wear it. Typically we've had a heat wave, but never mind, it's ready for the autumn. I used buttons which were in my stash, and I went for alternate different ones, because I like odd buttons. So yeah, this is the Gnarled oak pattern cardigan. I believe they do a child's version of it as well. Has loads of sizes. It's by Alana, Dakos, also called Never Not Knitting, and I knitted it on a James Brett with merino yarn. I didn't do any major modifications. I used a 4mm instead of a 3.25, and I slightly went down one of the sizes to what I would normally do, because I went up needle size, because that's what I had available. And I couldn't go rummaging around. So yeah, that's one of the things I've been knitting recently, which I can't wait to wear. Then I finished that last Tuesday. I was like, oh my goodness, what am I going to knit? I don't know what to do. I didn't have a huge amount of concentration. My sight was still fuzzy, and yeah, I just didn't really know what to do. But I had 6 balls of this beautiful Manx Lockton yarn, which comes from Sheldon Community Centre, which is in Exeter. And they are a retreat place for vicars. Now, I have a friend whose husband's an ex-vicar, and she very kindly gifted me these 6 balls of Manx Lockton wool from the sheep down at Sheldon. So she could almost tell me the names, which sheep it came from. and it's been sitting in my stash for a while. And I've never quite known what to knit with it. I knew it needed to be knitted, not crocheted, and I knew it needed texture to it. I knew I didn't have enough of a whole garment for myself, so I had about 550 metres. No, a bit more than that. About 600 metres. But anyway, umming and ahhing, not sure what to do. Last week I went and picked it up and, right, I'm going to knit a natter, I'm taking a ball of this, I'm taking my knitting needles, and let's see what happens. And it called to me to make a sort of triangular scarf with cables and different textured stitches, sort of Gansey style stitches. So this is possibly my speediest knit ever, though it wasn't a double knit, and I did use a 6mm needle, so it did knit up quickly. This is it. So it's this beautiful, pure, undyed wool. I started down here, bit of moss, bit of cable. Then I decided it needed some basket weave, some other I don't know if you can see that texture on there. Then sort of an arrowy pattern, which I did a bit of research into Gansey stitches and found that, and this one. I said, right, 6 patterns, I'm going to repeat them. So yeah, kept on repeating them. And last night I cast off, and here is my finished shawl. I'm really pleased with it. It's again not one for this weather, although it's cooled down a bit, but it's not really for this weather. But I'm going to be all organised for the winter, and it's so snuggly and it's not itchy. It'd be great for going camping, pop it over in those cool evenings. I wanted to make the most of all the yarn I had, so I did some tassels on it as well to finish it off, and I just love it. It's one of those things which I had an image in my head, what I knew what I wanted it to be, and it came out exactly how I wanted it, so I was really pleased. I didn't follow a pattern for this. It's my own design. I made it up as I went along. I made a few notes, so don't ask me for the pattern, because like every row was different and it would take forever to write up. And it's only note form. But it was such an enjoyable knit. I just wanted to keep going to the next bit, which is probably why I got so much done so quickly. So yes, those are a couple of bits I've been doing recently. What else? I've been reading this Golden Fleece. If you haven't read it and you're a knitter, and particularly if you're passionate about different styles of knitting, knowing a bit about the history of them, this book is fantastic. Esther Rutter, she basically decides to explore 12 different styles of knitting in UK or Great Britain. No, UK, because she goes up to Scotland as well and Shetlands over a year, and really research into them, different styles, different techniques, different patterns which are sort of indigenous to our country, and fleece and things. So it's absolutely inspiring. It's probably what made me pick up the needles and crack on with this, I think, because if I hadn't been reading this I probably wouldn't have been inspired to. She explores Fair Isle knitting, goes up to Shetland, explores lace work, goes down to Jersey and Guernsey, looks at the Ganses. She talked about spinning. There is absolutely so much in this book about the history of wool and its history of being spun and people's livelihoods around it within England over time. So fascinating. If you haven't read it, I would highly recommend it. Leading on from reading that, obviously I knitted my Kutch wrap, but also I decided I wanted to explore more, particularly into Fair Isle and Shetland, Northern Scottish techniques. So I went and raided our local library. Our local library hasn't got any in at the moment, but the best bit is we can order books. Because I also work in the library, I get to order them for free. So I've had a few of them arrive. This one I can't wait to dive into. Shetland Textiles, 800 BC to the present, and that will really link with Esther's book. All sorts of things like lace and the Fair patterns, and I just can't wait to explore it a bit more. I only picked these up the other day, which is why I haven't started. This one, I have an idea of something I want to design in the future. I'm not going to tell you about it at the moment, but I have an idea in my head of something I want to design in the future. So I want to explore lots of different fair art techniques, patterns, colourways and things. I'm hoping this book will give me some inspiration. There are some beautiful swatches and bits about the history and things in there. And this one as well, which is Sarah Don's Practical Handbook of Traditional Designs for Fair Art Knitting. Again, I want to explore a bit more about fair art and different stitches and things. So when I do another blog, I'll talk to you a bit more about what I've discovered in them. Right, what else? Oh yes, so I finished that last night, so I needed something else to cast on. I could go and raid my in progress box, but I don't really feel like doing any of my in progress things at the moment. So I was tempted by Under the Olive Tree knits, Gem Arrowsmith, and her new sort of knit along pattern. Where is it? Bring Me Sunshine it's called, and I've literally just wound my yarn for it and started the very first few rows. I am using, so I've put my books on top of everything now. I'm using this lovely yarn. It's by Snuggly Stars. It's a 4-ply, and it's the one that she dyed for the coronation. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it. Originally I bought it for socks, but I think it's decided to call for like a scarfy shawl thing, so I'm giving it a go on the Bring Me Sunshine pattern. By Under the Olive Tree knits, and that's the start of it. I share it share it with you next time. So you can see my progress. And what else? I've also, well, actually, I tell a lie, I haven't done any on this since before my IOP. So since before the beginning of June. But this is the Serdar made by Anita collaboration coronation blanket. I have done all of it. I have just got to do the embellishments. Well, actually I've done the embellishments. I just got to finish them and stitch them on really, and sew a few ends in. Now my eyesight's better, I probably will have a go at that and maybe give myself a goal of finishing that in the next week or so. Keep an eye on Facebook and Instagram. I will put a post when I finish it. I'm not going to give myself any specific dates to get it done by though, because I don't feel quite like it at the moment. And what else? I've been recording some videos for my membership. So this month my knitters have had a workshop on Judy's Magic Cast On. We've also had our knit and natter and yarn and natter, doesn't matter if you knit or crochet. And next week we're also going on a trip, so I'll post about that once we've been. I have a pattern that I have in mind, which I'll share with you if I find yarn for it when we're on our outing. I've also been listing a few more workshops on my website. So I've got things like yarn dyeing coming up, lace knitting. So if you've never done any lace knitting, want to have a go at it, or you want to extend your skills, I've got a class at the end of July on that. Yeah, so I've been quietly busy, mainly just knitting, and it's lovely to catch up with you all. I will record another one in a few weeks when I've got some more bits to show you, and I will put some tags in the bit below with details of the patterns which I've been knitting recently and the books which I showed you. Okay, happy knitting everyone and crocheting. Bye.